Hi, my name is Severin and today I would like to give you an update about this coming full moon in Sagittarius on the 5th of June 2020. This is actually just the beginning of the eclipse season. So we are in a special time, and the full moon is always when there is the moon and the sun opposing each other. So therefore there's some kind of tension, some sort of release and insight happening. And this time it's actually that the moon and the sun are squaring Mars and Neptune in Pisces. And therefore, I'm calling this conversation or this talk that I'm having, letting go of any old expectations. So that sounds easier than it is, and therefore I want to explore with you a little bit more what this full moon has in store for us. But you have to know, this full moon is actually just a building up for the real big one. And the real big one is actually the solar eclipse in Cancer on the 21st of June. So in 2 weeks we're going to have a real solar eclipse that's going to affect us. It's going to give us some sort of rebirth. And a birthing process, if you don't go into anesthesia, then it is actually a painful process, but it's worth it. It's creating the most magical thing that is out there, creating life. A new human being. And I think in that sense also I'm looking really much forward, and I'm curious to see what's happening with this upcoming solar eclipse in Cancer. And also on an additional note, we are in a time where all the planets are being in retrograde. So only Mercury and Mars are not in retrograde, but Mercury is going in retrograde on the 18th of June. So we have an additional planet pushing us into an internal process of where we have to reflect, we have to look within, we have to examine our beliefs, we have to question of who we are and what is the world that we want to live in. And that probably is also part of the bigger story that leads us into this birthing process of this big solar eclipse on the 21st of June 2020 in Cancer. There is also a part that is being played out where Jupiter and Pluto are becoming conjunct for the second time by the end of the month. So on the 30th of June, Pluto and Jupiter will get conjunct again. And Jupiter is simply this planet that brings us opportunity, is a benevolent planet, but it's also making things bigger. And in that sense, it magnifies Pluto. And what is Pluto? Pluto is simply the planet that makes the unconscious conscious, and that's kind of shadow work. It's like where everything that is hidden, that's on the bottom, can also be beautiful or potential, something positive, but anything that's there is not yet made conscious, and therefore it has to be pushed to the surface. So in that sense, we can see that already. It has started in the beginning of the year, and it will culminate third time on the 12th of November 2020. It's almost like we have to bring the shit to the surface. And while shit hits the fan, it's also this huge healing process that can happen simultaneously. This huge opportunity for change, for shift, is really there as a given right now. So if we are willing to grow, then this is the opportunity right now to step into that, and it will continue until the end of the year, where we are suddenly able to see things that are alive in us that we have never been seeing before, that we can bring to the surface and we can change therefore, because suddenly we are aware of it. But this is not a comfortable process. This is a process where we have to be honest to ourselves and honest to others. We have to be willing to admit who we truly are. We have to be willing to become naked. We have to be willing to let go of any identifications that we are holding on, because they're holding us back from any old stories and ideas, and rebirthing ourselves afresh. So the Pluto and Jupiter planets are conjunct. That's very much happening on a collective level, but it's affecting us all on a personal level as well. So before I begin, let me just remind you or let you know that I have just completed a short compilation of 3 videos in which I am speaking about astrology. I'm calling it Astrology in a Nutshell, and I'm explaining more about the 12 zodiac signs, about in part 2 the 10 planets, and in part 3 about the lunar nodes, which are explaining where we're coming from in our lives and where we're heading to, so-called destiny. So please check them out. I hope you like them, and if you relate to them, then please subscribe, because there's more information coming. I have more to share, and also share it with other people. Alright, back to the full moon. So this Sagittarius full moon, we have the moon on one side, and the moon is there with Venus in Gemini, and it simply represents our intellect. We want to understand the story that is being played out in the world right now and that's affecting everybody. The coronavirus is still going on, the upcoming economical crisis is just gonna become more real, and the distrust in the political system, in the economy, and in life and society in general is just happening and becoming more real than ever, and leaves us in more doubts and insecurity than ever before. So it's more than normal that we are trying to figure out how are the restrictions affecting us. Can we travel in the future, and under what restrictions? And even if we could travel, what countries are even open? How is this situation affecting our job, the job situation in the world? Do I will have an opportunity to go back to my old job, or do I have to adapt and do something new? So there's a lot of security questions are coming up, and with this a lot of insecurity. So we're simply in a place where we're trying to read the newspaper and trying to make all sense and being in touch what's going on, because there's so many changes constantly happening. At the same time, we also have the moon in Sagittarius, and the Sagittarius moon is simply pointing us away from the intellect. It brings us more towards our trust, our gut feeling, our intuition, our heart, where we try to feel into what is then still possible for us to do. And rather than relying on the external, we are coming more and more to the internal. And we are questioning how can we come back to a moral compass, to something that gives us meaning and sense in life that is worthwhile striving for. And that question is probably not one that we can just enter with certainty and clarity, but something that we have to be pushed into. And that why this full moon is basically quite an uncomfortable one. So it's a little bit like when we have to learn patience, then we learn patience in moments when we don't have any. In the same way, we learn trust in moments when it seems like that there is nothing that we can trust anymore, when we kind of have to give up and let go. And that's exactly what this full moon is pointing towards. So the moon and the sun, they're squaring Mars and Neptune in Pisces. And Pisces is definitely the ultimate sign, which is all about transcendence and letting go. But Mars, who wants to assert itself in Pisces, is like the peaceful warrior, the one that basically has to let go of what he wanted or what he assumed would be the solution. And that's how it could feel a little bit for us, that we would like to have our lives lived out in a certain way, or we have ideas or imaginations or identifications, and they're simply not working out because we have to transcend, we have to let go, and we have to surrender. But whenever our belief systems and our identifications are challenged, then we can either accept, trust, and sink to our knees and say, well, I don't understand why, and I can just accept that gracefully. But obviously, most of the cases, that's not so simple. And we therefore try to fight. We try to be in control. We have fears, we have insecurities, especially now when the world around us is not one that we have been living in for a long amount of time, and we trust. Everything is in change, everything is in movement, and there is a shift to a new paradigm. But this full moon is an invitation to come back to some sort of trust in something bigger that is there, and that pushes us back to some sort of spiritual practice. And when we speak about the spiritual, then it has nothing to do with ourselves. Then we can actually realize that all the thoughts, the ideas, the stories, the beliefs, the feelings and the emotions, they are just happening to us. And in that moment, we can become aware of that. And when we're becoming aware of something, then we don't have to react to it. And that's exactly what we are training in any spiritual practice, that we are not getting lost in our patterns, in our beliefs, in our mind, in our stories, in our desires, in our fears. And that doesn't make them not real, but that we can see that they're playing out through us, and everything is arising within our awareness and dissolving within our awareness. And from that point, we can actually come to a place that is more certain than all these fluctuations of our personality. And from that point, we can actually create trust, love, and surrender from a place that we are not in charge for the next step in our lives. But obviously, not everybody has been cultivating meditation, yoga, or Tai Chi in the last years that we are gracefully can step into this change. Very likely we are fighting, we are exhausting ourselves, we are pushing, and we are trying the best to not drown. But drowning is not something that we die, it's more something that we allow to come back in the flow, into alignment with that renewal, with that rebirthing process of the earth. And we are an inhabitant, an earthling, and part of this story. So therefore, for everybody, this can be a more graceful process if we have been in touch with something that brings us back to ourselves. And if we have been living very much in the external, very much in work and what the collective is requiring for us in the system, then this can be a very difficult and challenging and ego quenching process. So in that sense, I would also like to say to you that I have been working on videos to share with you how to meditate from home from beginners, because I think we are in times right now, and that's not just for this full moon right now in Sagittarius, but in general we are undergoing a huge process that will last for the next 2 years, and I will share soon a video about some of my thoughts about this bigger cycle and what is coming next. But I think one of the most beneficial things that we can do or give to ourselves is practicing meditation. It can also be any other art of awareness practice, but that's simply what I have been practicing for the last 10 years, and I live at the retreat center here in Guatemala, and that's something that I would like to share with more and more people. And therefore I'm releasing more and more videos about what is meditation, how to learn to meditate, how to work with your physical body, how to calm your mind, and how to find back to relaxation while including your personality. So please follow me and have a look if you're interested in that. And in that sense, I just wish you a beautiful full moon in Sagittarius, where you can honor on one side the mind that wants to understand, but don't find refuge in the story that's happening out there, but being pushed more into your heart, into your intuition, in that feeling of trusting of what's alive in you and coming back to that essence. And from there, you hopefully find some sign of refuge if you can allow the unknown to play out within you. If you can allow the magic of that bigger story to unfold itself, even if we on a personal level don't really understand what's going on, and we can allow fears, uncertainty and insecurity to come up, but rather to express them on loved ones, which is still a difficult one, to let go of any old expectations. And in that sense, a real soul growth is happening, a yearning of the heart, a reactivation of that burning for something that we can trust in. Have a good full moon. Goodbye.